MMA Locker Room here with Pick Dawgz, and I'm going to be going over this week's UFC card headlined by Cannonier taking on Imavov, and I'm going to be going over all the best picks on there, give you guys my predictions, see how the fights can play out, and at the end of the video, I'm going to give you guys my parlay and see how we can put some more money in your pocket. All right, man. Welcome to the UFC Bet With Me series. All right, we're back, folks. Coming off a great week last week. I mean, we went 9-3 on our video predictions. I mean, let's talk about some of the losses. Let's talk about some of the wins. We did lose with Phil Rowe. I was dog hunting. And we did lose with Jocelyn Edwards. I was dog hunting. But my money shots, we hit, folks. We got the Randy Brown win. We got the Sean Strickland. We got the Kevin Holland. And hey, man, besides that, we hit the parlay that we gave out here as well. And hey, 9-3 on our predictions is good, but it ain't good enough. This week, I'm trying to go flawless. Perfect, folks. I don't want to miss a pick. So let's go ahead and get it started. But before we get it started, what did you guys make some money on? I see you guys in the comments out there, man. Shout out to you guys. I want to say thank you guys, man. We finally hit that 100 like mark, man. Yeah, man. It's a big accomplishment over here, man. We finally hit that 100 like mark on our video comments. And, you know, we're starting to get our comments section flowing in there too, man. I'm trying to see if we could get to 25 comments on this video. Last one, we hit 17 comments. If you're watching this right now, hit back out and drop a comment for us and let us know, man. Hey, who's your favorite MMA fighter of all time? And who's your favorite MMA fighter right now? Let us know in the comments below. All right, the UFC Bet With Me series, folks. Like I said, we hit our locker room locker room parlay last week out with the video. So hey, man, that's what we're gonna do here too for you guys. Now look, if you guys want to see a little bit more of my information, some of my interviews and clips, check me out at MMA Locker Room on YouTube, man. I'm covering all the media for PFL this week too. They got an event going on out there in the Euro series. All right, man, let's go ahead and get it started, man. You guys got some good fights to talk about on this one. Some spots that I'm really not looking forward to talk about, so not going to spend too much time. But the first fight on the night. All right, let's get it on. Rayon Dos Santos. Rayon Dos Santos? Man, this girl done changed her name multiple times now, man. Taking on Puja Tumar. All right, let's get down to the odds and the predictions on how these fighters line up. Rayon Dos Santos, -300 favorite, taking on Puja Tumar, making a UFC debut. Let me talk about the newcomer. UFC debut. Puja Tumar is coming from the One Championship. In a promotion now, she wasn't really able to get too many wins in there. She's going to come out there and be aggressive and try to keep it on the feet. But her weaknesses is takedowns. And guess what? Rayan, she's good at the takedowns. I think she's going to be able to get this down to the mat in here. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think she wins in this one. I did do a parlay with her when she was -275 in here. Yeah, and this is just the thing. Brazil versus, come on now. Like, I get it. UFC is always looking for new talent and stuff. But the person that they're bringing in right now, if you wanted to build her up, you would have gave her like some person that was, never mind, this is a person that doesn't have that many fights. Point blank period. Rayon Dos Santos wins in this one. Don't overthink it. Let's keep it going. Next fight on the fight card. All right, man. Taylor Lapilus, 19-4, taking on Cody Stamann, 26 wins, 6 losses. Taylor Lapilus, you know, let's get down to the gambling odds. He opened up at -185. Now he's all the way up to like a 280 out there on the books. The comeback on Cody Stamann, +230. All right, let's get down to the matchup. Striker versus grappler. You know who the striker is going to be? That's Lapilus. The grappler is going to be Stamann. But look, Taylor Lapilus in his last fight out against Basharat struggled with the takedowns, okay? And listen to this game plan. If Cody Stamann is smart, just by watching tape study in his last couple of fights, you would see, hey man, here's a game plan to beat Taylor Lapilus. You know, in his other fight too, Colin, I forgot who he fought. Colin Loughran too. Colin Loughran was able to get him down to the ground in one of those rounds and, you know, make it a competitive round, even though Taylor Lapilus did win in that fight. I like Taylor Lapilus in this spot, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. I think this is one of those spots where Cody Stamann is going to come out there and just go back to the old Cody Stamann and wrestle. So, I mean, people want to say, hey, man, take a dog shot. I do think +230, those odds are too too good not to sprinkle on, man, because I can see him wrestling. But this is the thing. What is he gonna do once he gets him down to the ground? And nowadays the judges, they're not judging takedowns no more, man. The pick is Taylor Lapidus because I do think his striking is next level. You know what I mean? I actually think he can be able to stuff some of these takedowns too. And if he does stuff these takedowns, when it stays on the feet, man, this guy's a technician out there. When it comes to his striking, I got to go with him. When it comes to the cardio, I'm going to go with him. The fight IQ, I give him a C. Overall, Taylor Lapidus will win by decision in this one. The best bet is the fight goes over. I did do a parlay with this fight to go over and another fight to go under. I'll let you guys know when we come up to that one. All right, next fight taking place. All right, women's delight. Eduardo Maria taking on Denise Gomes. All right, Eduardo Maria, okay. She's opening up the favorite in this spot. -160. Denise Gomes come back on her, +140. Maria made her UFC debut against Marcel Ruiz. And she got the win in that fight. Denise Gomes, she's been surprising people as a big underdog, you know, and pulling it out. The only thing is she lost her last fight against Angela Hill in the spot. We had Angela Hill in that one. I like this fight to end before the scorecards. My best bet is fight not going the distance. I do think Mora has enough to get this thing down to the ground and, you know, maybe win by ground and pound. But if this stays on the feet, Denise Gomes can knock out anybody. My pick is Mora in this one. I actually think -160. I might be looking that way if it drops a little bit lower as the fight goes. Next fight taking place. All right, let's get it on. Daniel Marcos, 15-0, taking on John Castaneda, 21-6. Daniel Marcos, -120 favorite, but this line's been going back and forth. It's been a pick 'em pretty much all week. Now, +100 on John Castaneda. Let's talk about the attributes and how these guys add up. Orthodox striker on Marcos. John Castaneda is like a switch stand striker. Marcos going to be averaging about 5.7 strikes per minute. Castaneda right behind him around 4.5. When it comes down to it, though, Castaneda does have the upside because he can mix in the wrestling, the takedowns, the clinches, and that's something that Marcos doesn't really know how to prepare for and doesn't really know how to stop. And Castaneda's been fighting in the UFC for a while now, and he's smart to where if the round's going close and, you know, he's staying on the feet, he's going to mix in that takedown at the end of the round just to put a stamp on it a little bit. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. I've never been on the right side of the John Castaneda bets and stuff. And I like Daniel Marcos, man. I've been making money with him in the UFC. I took him in this spot at a -120. Let's go ahead and get it done. Bantamweight fight should be a good one, though. Next fight taking place. Women's. Again, let's go. Andrea Lee, 13-9, taking on Montana De La Rosa, 12-9-1. This fight is a rematch, folks. Both these women fought already. In a fight that, you know, it was pretty competitive. But, you know, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I forget who even won. Was it Andrea Lee? It was probably Andrea Lee, man. I don't even know, man. Let's get down to it, though. Andrea Lee was looking good in her last couple of fights out, okay? She looked decent against Miranda Maverick in the spot we had Miranda Maverick. And the reason why I say decent is because she put up a fight, okay? And the fight before that, it was against Macy Barber in a fight that I was seeing it fight live. She was a big underdog in the fight. Everybody thought she actually won, and they gave it to Macy Barber. So she's one of those girls to where, yes, she's getting older, but she's really not never mind. I can't make a case for that. Montana De La Rosa is a good wrestler. She likes the mixes and the takedowns and stuff like that. If this stays on her feet, I can see Andrea Lee winning. Montana De La Rosa, I've been always backing her and betting her. And oh, man. I think I'm going back to war with it one more time, man. Give me the dog money on this one, man. I think Montana De La Rosa, you know, is going to be able to get Andrea Lee down to the ground and hopefully, you know, keep her down to the ground. If this stays on the feet, Montana De La Rosa just always seems to, you know, take damage and, you know, get a bloody nose off of like a punch, a jab or anything like this. But give me the dog money in there, man. I know sometimes I can't get away from them and stuff. I came into this trying to pick Andrea Lee, though. I was like, wait, I think she can do enough now because I've seen enough of Montana De La Rosa in the last couple of fights to not improve. But I still got to give her this chance in this one. Next fight, Brad Cantona, 15-3, taking on Jesse Butler, 12-5. Brad Cantona is a -600 favorite. He opened up at a -500 favorite. I think he wins, okay, folks? I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I actually think he could win third round or decision. That would be my best bet for Brad Cantona to win in the third round or win by decision. You cut that price tag down all the way to something that you guys can bet. All right, let's keep it going on this one, man. But before we do that, what are you guys betting on this week, man? How are your guys' weekend going? And hey, let me know who's your best dog on this card. Man, welterweight matchup. Carlos Prates, 18-6, taking on Charles Radtke, a.k.a. Chuck Buffalo, 9-3. Carlos Prates, minus 240. Come back on Charles Radtke, plus 195. Carlos Prates made his UFC debut against Trevin Giles in a fight to where, man, he was supposed to be the guy that was supposed to finish him inside the distance real quick. Well, he finished him inside the distance, but it wasn't real quick. He was down on the scorecards late in the rounds, and, he ended up catching him and putting Trevin Giles out. I remember that fight because I did have Prates in there to win inside the distance. Man, he pulled it out for us, but I was like, oh my gosh, next time, man. And now we're at the next time. Charles Radtke, man, he's been an underdog, man. 6-0 in his last couple of fights, 2-0 in the UFC. Look and hear me, man. His fighting style, some people like to call it karate, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing. He named it thug jitsu. What more do I need to say? I'm on Chuck Buffalo in this spot, man. I think he's the dog in this spot. I think he's going to be able to go out there, and mix in the takedowns if he wants to, just because Prates hasn't really been tested on his back end here. I get it, man. The striking is going to be in favor of Prates, but the overall, fighting aspect of it, it's an MMA fight, and I think Radtke's live, man. So give me Radtke in this spot as a live dog in here, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. I like Prates as well, but I just can't trust him from what I've seen so far making his UFC debut with us. Next fight taking place in the lightweight division. Thiago Moses, 18 wins, 7 losses, taking on Ludovic Klein, 21-4-1. Ludovic Klein's opening up a minus 130 favorite. Thiago Moses come back on him plus 105. Look, listen, hear me. The keys to victory for Thiago Moses to win this fight is get him down to the ground, mixing those takedowns. His jiu-jitsu is top tier. All right, fight resume. I got to give it to Thiago Moses. Give him a B+. Fight IQ, I give him a B. When it comes down to the striking, though, I got to go with Ludovic Klein. I give him a B in that. When it comes to the cardio, I'm going with Ludovic Klein. When it comes to the finishability, I got to go with Thiago Moses. Overall, though, I like Ludovic Klein in this spot because, man, it's been proven if Thiago Moses can't get you down to the ground and if he stays up on the feet, he could get finished in that fight. And Ludovic Klein has been as advertised out there, man. So I like Ludovic Klein in this spot, minus 135. I will be looking to bet that too as well. Hopefully the money does come down because I do see a lot of people on Thiago Moses. All right, next fight taking place. Bruno Soriano is back, taking on Miguel Baeza. All right, Miguel Baeza, my guy. Man, it's been a while since we've seen you, man. He's been doing some jiu-jitsu and grappling tournaments. For the people that don't know, man, he came out right when, COVID was coming out, and he was putting on performances, wins and wins and wins. And then he started getting dropped, knocked out, and dropped. And that chin started getting questioned. All right, the opening odds got him up to a minus 190 in here. Bruno Soriano, though, listen, he lost to Dustin Stolfus in his last time out. A guy that goes out there with like a one-punch thing, holds his hands up and just swings, and really that's it. He doesn't mix in anything, and it seems like after that first round, he's huffing and puffing out there like a fish out of water. Marco Polo. I can't trust him in this spot, man. Give me Miguel Baeza in this one. I think he's just the overall better off fighter, and get this past that first round, I could see Miguel Baeza winning, second round or third round. But this fight, I definitely don't see this one going the distance at all. In here, this was the fight that I did take the under 2.5 with. So I parlayed the over in the Taylor Lapilus fight and the under 2.5 in this fight. Miguel Baeza should be able to get it done in this one. All right, next fight taking place. Zachary Reese, 6-1, taking on Julian Marquez, 9-4. Zachary Reese, man, last time out, he was fighting Cody Brennan in a fight to where, he got picked up and slammed on his head and knocked out. Now, look, I'm not going to hold that against him, okay, at all. Now, he's a plus 115 underdog in the spot against Julian Marquez, untrustworthy fighter who had more injuries, who had more obstacles thrown in his way with the James Krause betting stuff, just all type of stuff, man, ever since he's been in the UFC, 9-4, but 0-2 in his last 2 fights, and in those fights, he was looking good for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then after those 5 minutes, he just collapsed. I mean, this is what it comes to. ABC, always bet on cardio. There's no way I could bet on Marquez in this fight, man. I was looking at him earlier on because I was like, oh, cool, nice, minus 120. And now I start, Zachary Reese, who is this? And I start looking, and I started thinking, I did the tape study, and I was like, no, I remember Zachary Reese. I had a play on him against Cody Brennan. he's getting my money back. Give me Zachary Reese in this spot, man. Give me the dog money in this one, man. I think he's going to come back and get that win. All right, next fight taking place. Bruno Ferreira, 11-1, taking on Dustin Stolfus, 15-5. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. Bruno Ferreira's minus 265 favorite. Never really goes past the first round. Goes out there, tries to knock out all of his opponents. He should be able to do that in this fight. If he doesn't, Dustin Stolfus has showed, hey, man, I could pull off some upsets and everything like that. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I usually bet a lot of the fights on the card. Damn near 75%. Damn near have a bet on almost every single fight, if not a proper play, a distance or something, right? I didn't target this fight. I didn't bet it. I still ain't got nothing on this fight, man. I'm not spending none of my money on this fight because I can't trust none of them, and I just can't. No, this is a fight I don't want no part of. But the pick is going to be Bruno Ferreira to win, and I think he wins in the first round by KO. Best bet, fight not going the distance in that one. All right, next fight taking place. Bantamweight, this one I like. All right. Raul Rojas Jr. taking on Ricky Turcos. Raul Rojas Jr. was the guy that made his UFC debut on the Contender Series, was only 17 years old. He had a permission slip to fight. Now, man, he's been in the UFC, I think he's like 2-1 in the UFC. I got to see him make his UFC debut versus Jay Perrin. I recorded the whole fight. He finished him, subbed him out. Ricky Turcos won the Ultimate Fighter, okay? He's a guy that's going to go out there and try to pepper you up with the volume. If this stays on the feet, man, it's going to be bad for Rojas Jr., man. Turcos is going to be able to, get that jab going, get the low leg kicks going and stuff like that. But I think Rojas Jr. wrestling pedigree, takedown stuff is top tier and on the next level. I think Rojas Jr.'s wins inside the distance. I think he wins by submission. Minus 230. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I did a parlay with him earlier on with a few other legs that I liked in there. But then again, I looked at the card and I bet him straight. The reason why is because this fight was supposed to take place 2 or 3 times now. And when it did, I had a play on him then. So I'm not going against my first gut, my first instinct then. Hey, Raul Rojas Jr., he's going to win, man. I think he's as advertised. Now, look and listen. Hear me out. People want to give him all this criticism about stuff, because he's saying what he's going to do, this and that. And then the minute he doesn't show up to a fight, they're saying, man, I'm not here for none of that, man. The dude's like 18 and 19 years old. Y'all need to chill and relax, man. We're talking about people in there going in there fighting and choking people out. Who cares that he wasn't able to walk out in his last fight because something happened, he wasn't feeling well? Man, we all get those moments and times like that. Don't hold it against the kid. I think he wins. All right, inside the distance, round 2 sub. Bet it, don't regret it. All right, co-main event time. Dominic Reyes taking on Dustin Jacoby. We got a good one in this one, man. Dustin Jacoby, 19-8-1, minus 240 on the books. Comeback on Dominic Reyes, plus 195. Quick story. I seen Dominic Reyes fight in LFA before he got called up to the UFC. Been a fan of this guy. He was the one guy with Alexander Rakic who I thought would be able to beat John Jones and challenge him for the light heavyweight title. He had that chance. And hey, man, you guys know the story with that. A lot of people thought he won. Hey, man, John Jones came out later on and put the stamp on it and showed why he's the GOAT. In this one, though, I've been following him, okay? I've been betting with him and backing him. My last time, I think I only lost with him a few times, and I'm not even mad at that. But I haven't been betting him for a while. And I'm not betting him in this spot, man. Give me Dustin Jacoby in here. Dustin Jacoby has showed, man, that he can go out there and go with a good offensive game plan, too. Talented kickboxer. Look, listen, hear me out. He used to fight in the UFC at the welterweight division. Went to the Glory Kickboxing or Pride Kickboxing. One of the two. Went over there and did his thing. Came back. Man, when he was over there, he developed so many different attributes with the striking. And he brings those striking skills to the UFC cage. Those are way better than somebody who stayed in the UFC for 2-3 years training the same thing and techniques, man. I like Dustin Jacoby striking in there. I think he wins in the first round. Give me Dustin Jacoby win, first round finish. Yeah, man. Let's go ahead and get it started. Main event time. Nasruddin Imavov, 13-4, taking on Jared Cannonier, 17-6. Nasruddin Imavov, slight favorite, minus 125. Looking good in his last couple of fights out. Talented striker going out there, averaging about 4.5 strikes per minute. Jared Cannonier, I've been following this guy and backing him and betting him for a while now. Stick to your guys, stick to your gut, and stick to your guns. This is one of the guys that I made my most money on ever betting on MMA. Bet on him as a big underdog against David Branch. Confident in it, killed it, cashed it. Bet on him a big against Anderson Silva. Cashed in that one as well. Those were some of my first 2 up and coming bets with Jared Cannonier, to where he's been my favorite ever since then. My only time losing with him was against Robert Whitaker. And then I think one other person after that. After that, I took a pause, and I haven't really been betting them and stuff. But guess what, folks? I'm back, and I'm on him. Give me Jared Cannonier in this spot, man. Plus money on this one. I think he could win in the 4th round finish. He's one of those guys that's going to go out there and put all of his power into his striking. And Nazardine Imavov, if he's not able to get you out by that 2nd, 3rd round, man, he's going to be looking around. And Jared Cannonier is going to be, he knows the game plan. He's been to 5 rounds multiple times. You know what I mean? And he's right on that verge again to, you know, being in that #1 title spot. So give me Jared Cannonier in this one. I actually think the over is at 4.5 rounds and it's juiced. I'm just going on the thing of Jared Cannonier having that it factor later on in the rounds, and Nazardine Imavov maybe having a little bit of that quit factor later on in the rounds. So give me Jared Cannonier in this spot. And that's my man, that's my best dog on this card right here. All right, man. So let's go ahead and talk about it now. Last week I gave you guys a parlay that hit. This week I'm trying to do the same thing, man. I'm gonna take Dustin Jacoby, 1 leg in that one, and then I'm gonna take who we gonna take? I wanted to go with Rion, but just because that's the first fight of the night, I kind of don't want to just, you know, roll it out like that. But that is like my most confident pick for you guys, okay? But I'm going with Raul Rojas Jr. So my 2-leg parlay, take Rojas Jr., okay? And then you take Dustin Jacoby. Parlay both those two, meet me at the window, and let's get paid. MMA Locker Room here, part of Pick Dawgz. If you can't roll with the Pick Dawgz, stay on the porch. UFC bet with me.